Hello everyone, this is Jer, starting a new series on tips for playing Oxygen Not Included. And the first one I have for you is even before you get into the game settings, let's choose a new game. You can choose between either survival or no sweat. Survival, stay on your toes and one step ahead of this unforgiving world. And it is unforgiving. One slip up could bring your colony crashing down, that is very much true. Or you could choose no sweat when disaster strikes, and it inevitably will. Take a deep breath and stay calm. You have ample time to find a solution. So if I chose no sweat, and I typically never do this, let's just go to the classic gameplay. If I can choose game settings down here, and this has brought everything down one level. So instead of being default for hunger, durability, radiation, it's brought it down, just making it a little bit easier. And if I had gone back, and let's do that now actually, and chosen survival and then gone into the game settings, it's left everything on the default, and that's the only thing those two settings do. And regardless of which one of these that you chose, you can then customize these up and down individually to your choosing, and it pretty much just depends on the style of gameplay you want. If you want to have a very relaxed game, you can make it really easy, or if you want to be very challenged and have to plan things meticulously, you can up these to the max. Let's go through each one of these. Probably the most important one is the first one, actually, hunger. You could either choose tummyless. These duplicants were printed without tummies and have no need for food at all. So that means you don't have to worry about farming, you don't have to worry about storing food. Or you can make them fasting, which essentially means they eat 500 calories a cycle. Or the default, which is twice of that, of 1,000 calories a cycle. Or rumbly tummies, that's 1,500 calories a cycle. Or if you're insane, you can choose, and I have done this once before, ravenous. Your duplicants are on a seafood diet. They seafood, they eat it. That essentially means they eat 2,000 calories a cycle, which is a very big challenge. The next thing is durability. So you can affect the durability of the suits. So that's the masks and Atmos suits. You can either make it indestructible. Duplicants have perfected clothing manufacturing and are able to make suits that last forever. Very convenient. You can cut it down in half versus the default, or add 50% or double the rate threadbare. These duplicants are no tailors. Suits wear out much faster than usual. Next is radiation. This affects the radiation sickness threshold. So when the dupes are walking around radiation, if they're there too long, they'll get radiation sickness. You can make them nuke proof. Duplicants could bathe in radiation waste and not even notice. That essentially means you don't have to worry about it. You could cut it down in half, or you can make it the default. And then here it is actually minus 33% and minus 66% effect. Duplicants, if it's on critical mass, duplicants feel ill at the merest mention of radiation and may never truly recover. Well, that's not really true. It just means that they recover much slower than the other settings. Stress reactions, when your dupes get 100% stressed, they exhibit their stress reactions. It's different for each dupe, so you can either turn that on and off. Teleportation, teleporters. So even if you click this off, the teleportation rooms are still going to be in the game. They just don't actually have the equipment to do anything. Disease. This affects how easily the dupes get sick. So you can make it totally immune, like diplomatic immunity, but without the diplomacy. These duplicants will never get sick, or you can tone that down, have the default settings, or make it outbreak prone. The whole colony will be ravaged by a plague if duplicants so much as sneeze funny. So you want to very much keep them away from anything that'll cause them from disease, such as food poisoning. Morale. So your dupes, as you give them more skills, they require more morale. And you have to do things in the game or build them things in the game to give them that more morale. Otherwise, they become stressed. You can make them totally blaze. The duplicants have 0 standards and will never gain stress regardless of morale. So if you don't want to have morale in the game, you could do that. Or you can make it draconian. The finest The finest of the finest can barely keep up with these duplicant stringent demands. You really have to give them high morale places to take breaks in if you want to give them some skills. And it's very useful to give them skills. This is a new one here, meteor showers. So you can either have clear skies, no meteor damage, no worries, so it just kind of takes that out of the game. You can have the default, and it is kind of nice with meteor showers because it actually gives you resource. Not that it's a huge place to get resources, but you can also choose Doomsday. You get a lot more. An onslaught and an apocalyptic hailstorm that feels almost personal. I haven't actually played in this setting yet, but I'm probably going to do a playthrough of the Doomsday setting. So look for that sometime in the future. And to cap things off, let's look at stress. You could either make it stress, so as I mentioned here, when the dupes get 100% stressed, they exhibit some negative reactions that can cause all kinds of trouble. You can make it Cloud 9. A strong emotional support system makes these duplicants impervious to all stress. That means really you don't have to be stressed out about stress. Or you can increase the rate. The way this works is Chipper makes a natural minus 10% a cycle to stress, or 0, a plus 10, or a plus 20% just for existing. Frankly, depressing. These duplicants were never taught coping mechanisms. They're devastated by stress as a result. And oh yeah, we'll talk about this one, care packages. So when the printer pod has things for you, you can get it so that you can only get dupes, or sometimes you can get items within the game, which is kind of nice. Now you notice one thing is missing. It doesn't affect oxygen, how much oxygen the dupes consume. I guess the game is called Oxygen Not Included, so there's nothing you can do about the oxygen requirements. You must provide oxygen if you want the dupes to survive. Well, that is my first tip of the game. Thanks anyone for liking this video and subscribing, and hopefully I will see you in the next tip. Till then.